الكريمة. Honorable guests, my dear brothers and sisters, my dearest children, we are indeed in the month of February, and the end of January, beginning of February, has two remarkable occasions that one cannot miss. The first one is January 29th, which is 7 years ago, was a very sad day, where worshippers in one of the masjids in a Quebec city risen from this earth to their Lord as shuhada, when they were exercising one of their civil rights of going to a place of worshiping to worship the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal. That's a day will never be forgotten from our memories, because from that day on, things have changed in our perception. This have created some injuries in our mind, which I talked about in my previous Jum'ah khutbah, when I talked about PTSD and its impact on our life and the life of our children. And I can't imagine myself what goes on today on the minds of the children of those who have risen to the mighty Allah Azza wa Jal. Nor I can imagine how they will be able to live a normal life like every other child who has a parent in his life. And I can't imagine what goes on into the minds of their spouses, how they feel every January 29th, what goes on in their mind at the end of a hard working day when they settle their children and send them to bed, and try to restore hope and faith in their minds. All these things come to mind when we remember that incident. And that's why that particular day is called a day of a stand against Islamophobia. And that's something we will continue to talk about until we feel as a minority that it is safe for us to be able to exercise our faith, to be able to live in this beautiful society that is so diverse in its structure, that should be able to accommodate everyone, regardless of their cultural background, their faith background, or their gender differences. And that's our hope. And we'll continue to push for it. And we're lucky to have champions who have advocated upon themselves to speak on our behalf and to take this challenge into a more official stand and push for it. And I will be asking, and what I will be asking today to these officials, not necessarily to give us the sympathy, because we got over with it. We can't deal with this over and over again. We get tired of going from one tragedy to another tragedy. And we, frankly speaking, don't care much about words of sympathy anymore. What we need, rather, is action. We need to see real change. We need to see a real shift in the culture. That's what we're in need for. Not only as a Muslim minority living in this part of the world, but for other minorities who are living in this beautiful country. We need to see a real change in the paradigm. We need to see a system that really fits everyone and accept everyone with their beliefs and their cultural understanding and background. We're still living in a province who's still having difficulty to adjust and change the perceptions and the paradigms and the culture to accommodate everyone else. It's a fight, it's a struggle, and we're all gonna take it together to see a better future for our children. Speaking about that, on February 1st of every year, there's also another call, a call for standing up for hijab, recognizing the hijab. Something I'm so passionate about, something that I have spoken a lot about. Not only because I have 5 girls that I care about and I love and they love me and I care about them so much. Not only because I want them to be able to live their life free of the different shackles that unfortunately are imposed on them in their life as a result of the discrimination, the toxic environment we're living in, but because I want everyone else to be able to live freely their life, practice their own beliefs, and be able to belong. A viral video went around not too long ago for a young Muslim woman beaten up in her school while wearing hijab. I cried. I could not stop myself from crying. I was shivering. And I immediately called my daughters and reassured to them my love and said to them, Baba, I love you. I care about you. And I was crying and they were telling me, Baba, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? I said, I'm okay. Just want to make sure that you are okay. And I'm very concerned about you and I want you to know that I'm standing by you to the last breath of my life. I want you to know that I'm here for you. And I want you to know that I'm doing whatever I can to make sure that you're able to live your life safely. And you'll be able to go to school without feeling discriminated against, without feeling that you need to change and alter your beliefs or the way you want to dress in public, nor you need to fear or feel that you're living in fear. That's why 2013, a call was made by a sister from the US to declare February 1st as a hijab day. Her motive, the motive behind her call was what she had experienced herself as a child going to public schooling system, when she was discriminated against, spit at, being physically abused because she's wearing her hijab. She called that day, and Wallah alhamd, it was perceived by so many to be a day to stand up in solidarity with those who are wearing hijab. And I was joking with my girls, I told them, I'm gonna put a hijab for you today, to just show you that I'm standing with you and I'm going in the same struggle you will be going through as you're wearing your hijab. The issue here is not hijab for young girls. The issue here is not the outfit for a Muslim sister. The issue here we need to be aware of is the culture we're living in. We need, as people of different faith and color background, we need to feel safe. We need to feel we belong. We need not to feel being discriminated against. Not too long ago, I was crossing the borders to pick up someone from the airport. And I was held for a few hours at the borders. I was interrogated for 3 hours at least, going back in my birth, in history from the birth, the day of my birth, all the way to the moment I was standing with the officer. And I have to be, fair. The officer was extremely, extremely supportive and helpful to me. She understood that I'm an imam, a chaplain, all the details. She saw my profile on the internet. But she was doing her job. And through the time I was waiting for my passport to be given back to me and my phone to be given back to me, and I said to them, do you need the password for my phone? Here you go. I unlocked my phone to them. I said, there's nothing I'm hiding. There's no need for you to go around and try to unlock my phone. I said, do you need it? Here you go. There's nothing. You want my profile? Just Google my name. It's right there. You know what I want to work, what I work? This is what I'm working. Do you want to know anything about my history? Here is it. There's nothing that I'm hiding. Though I was held for a few hours. And during that time, I get to realize that the system, not the individuals, discriminates between people of certain culture and skin color background. It's a fact. I was sad when I saw that by my own eyes. There are those who will be welcomed with a smile in the face, and there are those who will be asked to stay behind, and security check will be done on them. There are those who perceive the smile in the face, and there are others who are not the same. And I was wondering, why? Though the individuals who are doing their job are extremely nice people, what's the problem? The problem is in the system. And that's what we need the officials to understand and work on. We need to educate ourselves about diversity. We need to understand that our province, our country, the whole world have now become a global village, and there is no room for discrimination anymore. This is it. This is a history. This is a past. This is something that we need to be ashamed of as a humanity, that it does exist in our books of history. We need to open a new chapter and look to things from a different perspective. We need to be more open-minded to each other. And we need to accept our differences. We need to be respectful to each other. We need to give the space and allow every person to exercise their beliefs genuinely and freely without any fear or discrimination. That's the call we need to work on. That's what we need to stand up for. And this is something that I feel that we need to all together be hand in hand working for, to make sure that this is going to pave for a better future for our children. And to my younger sisters and to my younger brothers, I want them to understand that part of who you are, part of living on this planet that is called the earth, part of the life, the rules and the norms is that you will be tested. And you're expected to show resilience and to show strength and to be honest and to be حسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فليعلمن الله الذين صدقوا وليعلمن الكاذبين. That's a very simple statement. That's a simple rule we need to be aware of. You'll be tested. You'll be tested for the way you look. You'll be tested with the way you dress, whether you're a female or a male. There has been moments when I have been discriminated against because of wearing a beard, or because I'm dressed up in a certain way. There has been moments when I felt that should I or should I not? But when I remember my sisters wearing hijab in public, I say to myself, am I a hypocrite for being hesitant to express myself and dress in a certain way in public, knowing that my sisters would be having this challenge? And I say to myself, I need to stand up, and I need to do it, and I need to feel what they're going through so that I can work for them and I'd be an advocate for them. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. This is part of the norms and the rules that Allah Azza wa Jal have implemented for us on this earth. You'll be tested, and you'll be no different than Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, who was challenged for his faith and took upon himself the challenge to recite the Quran in the Kaaba. surrounded by all the thugs and the tyrants at his time. And when they looked at him, being of a person of a dark skin, they looked at him, who are you to recite the Quran in front of the Kaaba, daring all those leaderships of Mecca? They beat him up. They made him bleeding. And then afterwards, he reported that to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet ﷺ said to him, you need not to do this. And he said, I want to do it, Ya Rasulullah, to prove to them that I firmly believe in what I'm doing. That's the same person whom the Prophet ﷺ, in one of the occasions, when he was climbing a date tree, the Sahaba looked at his feet, tiny feet. And the Prophet ﷺ said to them, are you laughing at Ibn Mas'ud? Are you laughing at how tiny his feet are? By Allah Azza wa Jal, his feet are heavier in the scale of Allah Azza wa Jal than the mountains. That's what matters. What matters is what you believe in and how strong you stand up for what you believe in. And that's what we'll be demonstrating in our life. We will not be intimidated with whatever challenges we're being faced with. We will be standing for each other. We will be supportive to each other to make sure that when a young sister wears her hijab and walks out of home, she will be walking with her head up, knowing that she represents what she believes in, and knowing that we as a community stand behind her and make sure that she is safe and supported in whatever she's doing in her life. So the Hijab Day is a call to normalize not only wearing hijab in public, but to normalize the practices of people of different faith in public, so that whatever faith background you are coming from, you will feel safe to exercise your beliefs in public. You feel that you belong. You feel you're part of this mosaic and the structure of the society in which we're living in. And that's exactly the message we're sending to our officials today. We want them to feel the challenge we're going through. And we want them to be an advocate for the causes of all the people who are living in this beautiful country, so that the future will be brighter, so that the future will be safer, so the future will be promising for every single child, regardless of their culture, skin color, or beliefs. That's our hope. And that's something that we believe strongly that it is going to happen, because we're standing behind it. And we are strong believers, and we're resilient, and we are strong, and we will do it. وأقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه فاستغفروه.